Welcome to the deep dive. We take your sources, articles, research, notes, and really try to pull out the key insights. And today we're getting into a really powerful idea. It comes from some pretty inspiring material we found.
Yeah.
Challenges how we think about success, really. The core concept is relentless forward motion.
Right.
And there's this central, almost paradoxical insight we need to unpack. Failure is not optional.
That's exactly it. Yeah. Our mission today really is to dig into why failure isn't this thing to, dread or avoid at all costs.
Right.
But actually it's like an inherent, essential part of growing, of innovating, and, well, ultimately getting where you want to go.
Right.
We're hoping to help you sort of transform that fear of messing up into something, well, liberating.
Liberating. Okay, let's unpack that, because
Yeah.
our source material, it really hammers home this point, doesn't it?
It does.
In a world that's always changing, it's so tempting to just stop or give up, retreat, maybe.
Right.
But this idea, it insists failure isn't optional. It's not like a possibility you can sidestep.
No.
It's an inescapable prerequisite, a core part of the whole process.
And what's really fascinating is how the sources use historical figures to make this point.
Okay, like who?
Well, think about
This Teddy
Edison,
Berkey.
Thomas Edison, right? And his relentless chase for the light bulb.
I'll read the classic example.
He famously said something like, "I haven't failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work."
Huh? Yeah.
That mindset, it's deeply rooted in this relentless forward motion idea.
Okay.
It turns what looks like failure into just data points, essential data.
Data points. I like that.
Or, think about any big invention, all those prototypes behind it.
Mm-hmm.
Their failures weren't optional extras. They were the steps needed, the path to finding what actually worked.
That really does shift how you think about failure, doesn't it?
Completely.
It's so easy to see successful people and just imagine this smooth ride.
Right, like they just woke up successful.
Yeah. But the reality, like our research shows, it's woven with grit, tenacity, resilience.
Absolutely.
So, okay, for someone listening, someone that may be in the thick of it right now, when failure feels, crushing, how does this perspective actually help them see it as a prerequisite, not just a dead end?
Right.
What's the mental shift needed?
Well, connecting it to the bigger picture, I think, it means we're not defined by falling down.
Okay.
We're defined by how we get back up. You aren't measured by the doors that slam shut,
Right.
but by your guts to knock on new ones, or, maybe even build your own door.
Build your own door. Nice.
And crucially, you aren't lessened by mistakes. You're strengthened. You get wisdom from them. This whole concept encourages what our sources call intelligent evolution, learning to pivot, not just, bang your head against the wall.
Intelligent evolution. Pivoting, not just pushing. Okay. What do you think is the biggest mental block here for most people?
That's a good question, I think.
For me, it might be that instinct to hide failures. Sweep them under the rug.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Instead of analyzing them.
Exactly. So walk us through the practical advice then, from the speech. For those moments when things inevitably get rocky, where do we start?
Okay, first point. You have to truly embrace the lessons.
Embrace them. Okay.
Every failure is it's a data point, like we said. It's information telling you what doesn't work.
Which narrows down the path to what does.
Precisely. And the sources really stress analyzing these points and actively asking, okay, what specifically went wrong here? What did we learn?
Yeah.
What assumptions were off? How do we tweak our approach for the next try?
Yeah.
Make it more informed, more strategic.
That framing of failures as data points is, that's really compelling.
Yeah.
But I can hear someone thinking, okay, but relentless forward motion sounds exhausting.
Sure, burnout is real.
Right.
Yeah.
Does the speech talk about that? About maybe how to tell the difference between a necessary stumble and a sign you need to change direction completely? Like pivot.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That ties straight into the second key point. You need to redefine your perspective.
Redefine perspective. How?
See obstacles not as absolute walls, but as chances. Opportunities to innovate, adapt, get stronger, more agile. So it isn't just about gritty determination, head down, push hard. It's about that intelligent evolution we mentioned. Consciously using setbacks to refine your strategy. Become nimbler.
So it's the difference between just pushing blindly versus strategically adapting as you go.
Exactly. That's the key difference.
Okay. And what about just keeping going when everything in you just wants to, curl up and stop?
Yeah, that leads to the third point. maintain your momentum.
Maintain momentum, even small momentum.
Especially small momentum, even a snail, right? In its own slow way, it's making progress.
Oh, okay. Fair point.
The speech reminds us that sometimes the biggest wins come not from these huge leaps,
Uh-huh.
but just from consistently putting one foot in front of the other, even when it feels like wading through mud.
Right. Consistency over grand gestures sometimes.
Totally. It highlights how perfect is the enemy of good. Small, steady steps like, I don't know, refining one paragraph, making one more call.
Yeah.
That stuff carries you further than some huge, elaborate plan you never actually start.
It's about building that inertia step by step, brick by brick.
You got it.
So it's this determined march, however small the steps might feel.
Okay.
And then finally, what's the overarching mindset to sustain this whole thing?
The final piece is believe in your trajectory.
Your trajectory.
Yeah. Believe you're on a path, even if it's twisty, even if it has detours, major stumbles. As long as you are moving forward, learning, adapting, you are progressing towards your potential. And that truly transforms. Failure is not optional. It takes it from being scary to being, well, liberating, like we said at the start. I mean, you're playing the game, you're trying, you're alive.
You're in the arena.
Exactly. And you're moving closer, step by stumble, towards what you're meant to achieve.
So thinking about this for you, listening, what it really boils down to is that our journey, it isn't about avoiding the falls. It's fundamentally about how we get back up.
That's the core.
And those mistakes, the slip-ups, they don't diminish us.
Yeah.
They actually strengthen us, give us that invaluable wisdom.
Right. Hard-earned wisdom.
Through relentless forward motion. It's not some like reckless blind charge. It's more of a determined, steady, unwavering march towards what we want, learning with every single stumble.
Yeah. And maybe a final thought to leave you with.
Okay.
Just consider how fully accepting that idea, failure is not optional.
Yeah.
How does that really change your view on challenges, on your own potential? How does seeing it that way reshape your own trajectory and maybe help you see how every stumble, every setback you face, it's actually a vital step closer to whatever unique thing you have to offer the world?